All right, let's do this. So welcome everybody who's joining us live, everybody who is joining us streaming on our YouTube channel, on our social media channels, and also live here as well. It's Brett McHugh, CEO, founder of ClinicGrower. I'm really excited today to do this presentation and training for you all, this live webinar. I actually did a live training in person, brick and mortar, 30 vein and vascular specialists just last week. And the content was really so well received that I knew I had to deliver this to a larger audience. And so today, what we're going to be covering, what we're going to be going through specifically is how to educate, inspire, and attract vein patients. In 2025, we're knocking on that door of 2025, but also the fundamentals, the strategies, and the tactics that we're going to cover here are relevant right now, especially as we're going into fourth quarter, where there's going to be an increase in demand on vein services. Our vein practices have been busy all year. Some of them, our vein and vascular practices, having record years. We hope you're in that situation as well. If so, the content we're going to cover today is going to be an opportunity for you to break through to even higher levels in new patient acquisition, in volume, and in revenue. And if not, if you're behind on your goals, then there's definitely going to be some tools, tactics, and strategies that you're going to need to take notes of today to understand and implement, because with changes in consumer behavior and patient acquisition and patient behavior, there's different ways in which we need to communicate with patients in order to help them, to educate them, to inspire them to take action, and to have them coming into the practice. And everything that we're going to be covering today is essentially going to be related to what I call our growth model. And so our growth model for our vein and vascular practices, this is strategic wheelhouse of seducing new leads, or that lead generation phase, that patient acquisition phase, that first important part, scheduling appointments, getting those leads, those contacts to schedule appointments. Also the maximizing of show rates. So meaning that we're going to maximize the number of patients that are coming into your practice, increasing sales, that revenue generation, and then scaling the practice to new levels as well when it comes to revenue. But also for a lot of our practices, and maybe you too, it's multiple locations. It's really increasing your impact in your community, the impact and also income that you're generating. And so what we're going to do is, as we get started, I'm going to be kind of doing a flip between the screen, but also what you're seeing here on the screen, which is essentially me just going through and educating on some of the items that we're going to be covering. And today, what we will be specifically covering is how to attract patients through that educational and inspirational process, creating content. And I'm going to share how to easily create content that does that educates, inspires, and attracts new patients. We'll show real examples. I'll go through that. We're also going to share a content calendar for you to make things even easier to do the things that we're going to be covering today. At the end, we're going to have a Q&A. I think we're going to be here for about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe a bit longer if you have some Q&A. So with that being said, let's jump in. A little bit about myself, Brett McHugh, CEO and founder of ClinicGrower. I've basically grown up in marketing. I'm a student of marketing, a graduate of marketing, and I've been living and breathing, eating, sleeping, drinking marketing for over 25 years. Actually, working in the field for over 20. And I recently authored a book. We have our book, Seductive Digital Marketing and Sales for Aesthetic Practices. Covering in the book, we cover some fundamentals today that will be helpful for you when it comes to that, when it comes to generating new patients. And so we're also going to talk about the some of the events that I've spoken at recently. Just covered an event with over 30 practices that went down so well, the content, that I said that we have to do a live training where we're able to do it on a webinar. And I was able to do that here today so that we can essentially go ahead and increase the reach that we have when it comes to the practices that we're educating on our side as well. So as we get through here, there is a chat feature on Riverside. So I want to encourage everybody to use the chat feature. Julian on my team is going to be helping to manage the chat. I'm going to be dipping in from time to time as well. And also just know that towards the end of the presentation, there's going to be an opportunity to answer questions and to get into everything as we get through the content and the training today, okay? So, a little bit about me, as I said before, really our mission, what we're doing here at ClinicGrower, helping our practices to increase their impact and their income. Our mission at ClinicGrower is to help over 1,000 ambitious medical and aesthetic practices to essentially to do what we're covering today, to attract more patients, to increase their revenue, to increase their sales, so that they can grow their business successfully. The way that we do this is by developing win-win relationships with practices just like you in the marketplace, so that together we can help more people to look better, to feel better, and essentially to be better versions of themselves. And so a couple of examples you can see here. The first vein practice that we started working with back in 2017 when we launched, Andy at the Vein Place, we're still working with him today. It's really about getting new patients in the door of these practices. Dr. Azizi in Los Angeles, we help him to get both, vein, vascular, PAD patients. Many of our practices, we're doing additional types of patient generation, including fibroids, some arterial, but really at the crux of it, really what most of our practice, what a lot of you want to understand today is how we can use these strategies to educate, inspire, and to attract vein patients. And so we're going to be covering that here as we get through the presentation, okay? And so when it comes to the presentation, I have a quick ask for you, which is, I know you're busy, especially I really appreciate the surgeons that have joined today as well, because you've taken valuable time of your calendar. It's valuable time for all of us. It's that one resource that is we can't make any more of. And so my commitment today is I'm going to deliver for you. That's my commitment. And as we get through this, all I ask for is your attention. Use the chat. Save it till the end. We're going to invite guests on to ask questions. And I know this is going to be a relatively short time, about 30 to 40 minutes. So let's maximize our time together. I have a question for you. The question that I posed to our group of vein and vascular specialists that I met with in person last week. And the question is, what would happen if more people in your community were actually better educated on venous insufficiency and the treatment options available? Would that mean that there was going to be better diagnosis, for example, earlier diagnosis? Would it mean that there would be more effective treatments due to more people being educated? Would there be more and better patient outcomes for these patients? Also, on the referral standpoint, how many more referrals would you get if primary care providers, if podiatrists, if other referring physicians in your marketplace were just better educated on venous insufficiency, if they were better educated on the signs and the symptoms, so they could refer more patients to you as well? This is all very important stuff that we're going to talk about here today. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela quoted as saying that, and I think it's worth just taking 1 minute to think about that, because when it comes to any decisions that we're making, when it comes to your own education, the reason that you are where you are when it comes to being a vascular surgeon, a physician, having gone through medical school, it is the most powerful weapon in the world. Education can change the world, as it did for Nelson Mandela. There we go. When it comes to getting patients in, there's a number of different ways that we can educate them, and content through some things that you're possibly already doing or probably already doing. This is where you can have your pen and paper and kind of like check the boxes, right? On your website, how educational is the content on your website? Your website is your digital practice. It's the first place that most patients are going in order to get to know you, to understand the physical location, to get to learn more about the provider, and also to really figure out, are you the expert? Are you the doctor? Are you the physician? Are you the vein specialist that this patient wants to go see? They will probably check out some other practices in the area as they do this. And so the importance of being the authority in your space, being able to educate patients with blog posts, with online articles, social media, that written content is crucial. On the right side of the screen, what you're seeing are just a couple of articles from one of our vein and vascular practices. I'm going to teach you today. Number one, procedures change. Number one, some of the content you have references old information. Number two, Google loves frequencies, what we call topical authority. So you need to be able to publish content regularly. There's a couple of examples on the screen here. And needless to say, that this type of content educates patients, but it also goes insofar as to help to drive traffic, and to drive traffic not only from a search engine optimization standpoint, but social media. There's also an opportunity, as we do for some practices, to consolidate this into informational guides and PDFs that you can deliver to patients as well. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about educating with video. And this was something that was extremely popular as I spoke to our practices about last week. And I'm just going to share a couple of things here with you as we go through this. So really interesting data here from an authority in the space, really HubSpot, which has a lot of consumer data and data on businesses. This data is about video consumption in 2024. Almost 70% of online users watch and share video on Meta. Meta is that platform that owns Instagram and Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, most of you will know. And so the lion's share of video sharing and watching is still done on Meta, 15% using YouTube to do that, to watch and share. For our vein and vascular specialists here, what's even more important is looking at Generation X and our baby boomers, those adults right now who are about 44 to 60, and some of the boomers in that 60 to 70. We're talking about Medicare patients, right? These type of patients are really over indexing. They're the ones that are consuming even more of that content at a higher rate on both Instagram and Facebook. I'm also going to play a quick video here, which you may not be able to hear the audio, but on the video itself, this is just a very easy video that one of our vein practices who's absolutely crushing it down in South Florida, they've been able to leverage a very simple kind of informational video with Dr. Chang that we'll see here. And in the video, he's simply talking to a patient about a vein screening. So what Dr. Chang is going through here is that vein evaluation, the clinical part, talking about the symptoms, do a quick ultrasound. So as you can see there really wasn't any Hollywood involved. There wasn't major production. It was essentially good lighting, a nice iPhone, and it was Dr. Chang sitting down on his consultation chair, speaking with a patient, talking about the vein screening, talking about that evaluation that he does when new patients come in. Major opportunity for most of the practices that are on the call today, and some that we're watching the replay as well, is to do just that. We're going to share some resources at the end of the call to make it very easy for you to do so. Okay, but video is a major important part when it comes to doing just that and getting patients into the practice. So we're going to talk now a little bit more about some other opportunities when it comes to getting those patients in, top tips for creating that effective content. And some of the top tips for doing that are really is creating that blog content, or that content that, as I said, it addresses the common questions that they have. Ensuring that there's keywords, varicose vein treatment, peripheral artery disease. You already know the types of services and treatments that you offer. Using them in some of the technical pieces of your search engine optimization, the headings, the meta descriptions, the titles. That's where you want to be including that when it comes to the content on your website. And also when it comes to videos, short, engaging videos, like you saw of Dr. Chang right there. That video was about right around 30 seconds. That 30-second video is generating for them, over 20 consultations per week, because we're leveraging it from an advertising component as well. It's not just on his page, but he recorded that video, put it on social media, on the website, and now we've been leveraging some different tools to help him get patients with that video, that educational content, okay? So think about how you can educate, how you can grab that attention in the first few seconds. And also with video as well, the ability to also embed the video on the website, on that blog article, also increases your search engine optimization. And the importance of that organic, that SEO is crucial, because you really want to be the practice that's showing up when it comes to the content that patients are looking for, the search terms that they're looking for. And so when a patient is searching for vein treatment near me, for example, you want to make sure that you're showing up there. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about educational content and also inspirational, how we can inspire new patients. Now, one of my favorite speakers, I love going to see live events, Tony Robbins, who many of us here know, one of his quotes is, "The path to success is to take massive, determined actions." When it comes to new patients coming into your practice, we can never underestimate the action that they have to take in order to come into your practice. When it comes to scaling your practice, you've got your referral base. There are family members, there are friends, there are physicians, there's word of mouth, and that got you so far. Our most successful practices leverage marketing in order to gain market share, to go above and beyond, to grow their businesses. When you do that, you've got to think about the vulnerability of that patient, okay? We need to be able to inspire them to take action. It's no longer acceptable to say, hey, we're here, come along and get your treatment. A lot of us, I think everybody here understands the power of reviews, but as I go through some of your Google reviews, some of your Google business profiles, I really see some neglect. And I say that in a loving way, that the practices, all of us here are really not prioritizing getting reviews. What we're seeing on the screen here, a quick example is one of our practices they're actually based in Oak Creek and also Brookfield. When searching for vein centers near Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? Very competitive market. I mean, you can see some of the competition. USA are there. They've got, in fact, you can see our Vanish Advanced Vein Treatment. They show up twice. The way that they do this is by what we spoke about earlier, that content, that blog content on the website, that frequency, that consistency, but also the power of reviews. When it comes to reviews, almost 90% of consumers, of patients, are using reviews in order to evaluate local businesses, local practices. Those reviews equal trust factors, confidence with patients coming in. They essentially equal more schedules, right? More scheduled patients, more patients that are showing up at the practice because they're considering will they or won't they. They're checking you out. They're looking at how many reviews do you have. They're reading your reviews and they're reading the competitions. And if you do an audit for yourself, what do your reviews say about you? Example from a couple of our aesthetic practices there. If you see the one on the right, it's perfectly made. Obviously, you can see there's great reviews. They're showing the personality with the pictures that they have there. We'll talk more about that versus the other med spa on the left, which is very kind of sterile looking environment, real personality. And when it comes to the reviews, kind of like, really not that inspiring. I think you might agree. How you can get more reviews. You will get more reviews if you do this. If you do this today, you'll get more reviews today. If you do it next week, you'll get more reviews next week. If you don't do it, your competitors will start getting more reviews than you. Asking at the right time. This is key. I love visiting practices as it was last week, walking in, seeing the QR code there. So when patients are checking out, the QR code can get scanned and it brings the patient directly to the 800-pound gorilla Google, where they can leave the reviews because Google reviews are the most impactful. And so that helps. So leaving the links for Google, directing patients right there. And also big opportunity, as one of our practices just started doing, is setting goals for the month and incentivizing staff to get more reviews. And so when it comes to that, it's a matter of asking patients. It's a matter of incentivizing the staff, because when staff see those reviews come through, that's a good feeling too. They want to be working at the practice that has the most reviews, not the practice that doesn't. You want to create a culture of excellence, and there's no better way to start doing that than by getting more Google reviews. So real quick before we move on, and really don't want to kind of beat a dead horse on it, but question for you is, again, which one inspires you the most? When you put yourself in the patient's shoes, you're looking for vein treatment in Chicago. Not bad, reviews are okay, but where is that place? Oh, what? You know what? Dr. Rosen looks pretty cool. He's got a nice friendly staff right there, obviously. Wow, he's got a lot of reviews, and that's awesome. I'm going to go check him out, I think. So ask yourself, do an audit on how you're showing up online. How are you inspiring patients with reviews? The education piece, educating patients on Google reviews, educating them through the blogging content, through the video content. It helps to inspire patients. It also inspires Google to show you to more patients. It helps with that local SEO, okay? And so on the screen, what you're seeing here on the left is an example of a practice that, let's put it this way, green is good, red is bad. Any of the dots that you see here, those red dots, means that that practice is not showing up within the local searches on the Google Maps. Anything in yellow means they're off the first page, which means that patient has to dig, search and find them. Some of those dots there are saying 6th and 7th. You're gonna have to forgive my joke telling skills, but you've probably heard this one, where is the best place to bury somebody online? Off the first page of Google. And what this is showing here is just that. If you're not on that first page of that map pack in Google, you're really not being found. And there's a lot of practices out there that are just wondering, well, why are the calls gone down? Why is patient volume gone down? A lot of it can be this invisible hand that you don't see, but we have some tools that I'd be happy to share with you. If you'd like this done for your practice, just reach out. One way we can do it is by drawing a heat map for your practice so that you don't show in red, but you show up like Dr. Schmetter here, one of our practices that is just dominating the searches. He's got hospitals in his area, he's got competition, but he's got a strategy that he's using. He's doing the tactics, or we're doing it for him, implementing the strategies when it comes to educating and inspiring patients. But you can do this. You can do this. You can do the content. You can have somebody create the video. Just doing this will generate the results, okay? And if you need help on it, obviously, we're here to talk about that too. When it comes to liking you, it's stuff like this. It's humanizing the image of the practice, okay? It's stuff like getting pictures like you can see from Lindsay and her team at VenaFlux. Just simple, it's her team. There's no additional makeup here, no Hollywood. It's just, here's who we are. It's connecting with patients. It's relatable. You can use this stuff, other things such as staff bios, videos, team bios, achievements, media posts, Google Business Profile updates, testimonials, reviews. All these mechanisms are ways in which to connect with new patients, okay? Another quick example from Dr. Schmetterer here, one of our practices. And this is just it's just an everyday image, right? Your team are doing this 50 times a week, huddling around, talking about a patient, doing something, just regular at the practice. But patients want to see this. They don't get to see this every day. They want to see behind the scenes, like we've seen, biographies and documentaries, what's happening behind the scenes. People are interested in this. So when it comes to educating and inspiring with video, number one, I'm going to share a content calendar with you to take the mystery out. Number two is that when it comes to video, a lot of the time, the perceived challenge for doctors, for people in general, can be, how do I look? What would I say? And mainly it's those two questions that pop up. What equipment would I use? So number one, you don't need major equipment. These videos here, for example, these are curated content. We'll talk about that too. These are videos that are done with iPhones. These are regular people, as you can see. And the content that we've seen on the screen here, for example, these 3 videos, this is content that we've set up for our practices. We've sent in what we call influencers. In fact, there's 2 influencers and 1 patient, but influencers that we sent into our practices to take the workload off them. You can do this too. You can hire some influencers to come in so you can have that video shoot, take photographs, some professionals. Everybody who came in here had a vein screening. There's nothing misleading about this. These patients have come into the practice. What they're talking about in the video is real. And we also have just a regular patient video. One of our doctors actually listened to us, a lot more than just one, but here's an example of a doctor that he took our direction. He put a phone in front of his patient, young, vibrant patient, lady who had a child and had varicose vein issues. She was more than happy, more than excited to help to tell her story. And as she does that, guess what? We put those content pieces into ads, and it's like a magnet attracting more patients just like that. More moms, more ladies in the community, more women that have had varicose vein issues. Absolutely killing it from the ad standpoint for this practice. And this here, another one of our influencers talking about vein screening. I'm not sure if Julian, let me know if we can hear the video here, but we're going to play it and I can talk about it. So this video here is basically one of the patients talking about a consultation, addressing the insurance question, doing a look around the practice, vein screening, talking about the ultrasound, and there she is with the team from the practice. So she just finished up by saying she's recommending this doctor to everyone right now. I can't tell you how compelling that is for the people in her community that are seeing that ad. It's people to people. It's real, it's authentic, and it's working in 2024 and will continue to crush it in 2025. Again, ways that you can use video here are you can use existing patients, you can use your staff, you can be the authority, the expert. You can also use talent or influencers in order to get that content created. So what we're going to do now is we are going to move on to the next phase here. We're talking about attraction, okay? So when it comes to attracting new patients, it's basically parlaying and building on what we've already been through, okay? Educational content. We've been talking about inspiring new patients to come in. And next phase, what we want to do is to really tie it all together, to figure out how we can do this in a formatted process. And the ways which we can do it, again, to summarize, are creating that educational, authoritative blog post content. Real simple. Spend 10 minutes and do this sometime soon because the old content is old, writing down the most common questions that patients have. The content calendar I'll give you will actually do it for you, so you don't even have to spend those 10 minutes. I'll just give you that. Educational video, we spoke about that, talking about what the experience is like, the top 3 misperceptions with varicose vein treatment. And so when we put all this together, okay, that's when we're getting and attracting patients who are now, number one, they're better educated, okay? They're more inspired to take action. They're attracted to the idea of coming into the practice. And essentially, they've gotten to know, like, and trust you, and to trust your team more as part of that, as part of stacking that content, the blog articles, the photographs, the video. We saw it's very, very easy. I'll share a content calendar with you in just a moment. And that moves those patients down through the awareness phase, considering other practices, and then conversion, choosing you as the doctor, as the vein practice that they're going to come and see. I promised to give you this, and so we will. This is our vein practice content calendar. Very simple. These can be used in different tools, but I wanted to give it to you in a way that you can use this no matter what tool you have. You can simply copy and paste. You can simply use this as a director's guide in order to get the content created. So we've provided and we put together a full year of content that we are able to share with you right from January course through December. And so real quick to kind of show you how this works. There's a number of different categories. You don't have to do all of this, But let's say you are creating, 5 pieces a week. It's very easy. You can do 5 pieces or 10 pieces in 1 week and 10 pieces in another week. And the type of content here, let's talk about the first one, okay? Patient success story, showing before and after. Very easy. Most of you have that, right? Let's make sure we're getting it there on social media. Let's make sure we're relaying it through the blog content. The character story. When's the last time you ever told anybody in your marketplace about going through medical school, about how you became a doc? When's the last time you did that? Our most successful practices are doing that. They're the ones that they're sharing video, they're sharing imagery online to personalize what they're doing. This is where you're going to excel, the teaching on a topic, okay? This is going to be very easy for you. This is where you're able to talk about what are varicose veins. This is where you're going to be able to talk about navigating insurance for vein treatment. This is where you're going to be able to talk about what are the signs of venous ulcers and what are the biggest misconceptions about vein disease, and so on and so forth. We built this out for you for an entire year. Then we're talking about motivation, right? Inspiration. What's going to inspire patients in? Share some of your favorite quotes. This is real stuff. This content calendar, you can use these quotes again on social media, drip these out to patients, email, blog articles, share a weakness, something that you struggled with while building your practice, or something that some of your patients have struggled with, right? This is here to inspire you also. Be the expert. Talk about a common problem that patients have when they're considering vein treatment, or something that they encounter along the way, maybe some of the symptoms. The character story. Share a story about someone who who helped you to get started. How were you mentored? What did that look like? People want to understand that stuff. It really helps. And then we go down again, some of the expert, talking about different treatment methodologies, talking about you and different treatments that you offer. We're talking about sharing statistics when it comes to varicose vein treatment. Not all patients know. That over 40% of American adults are affected by varicose veins at some stage. Be the expert. Explain one thing that experts typically get wrong. So there's a full year of content here. We've also got this available for you. All you need to do, just text us at 877-813-6873. Just text content calendar, something relevant there. We'll make sure to get you a copy of that. When you do, it's going to be in a very simple Google sheet like this that you can simply copy and make your own. And if you want any more help with this, then just reach out. Again, a lot of you here have spoken with me already. We've got some clients. We've got some people that have spoken with in the past. Reach out. If you're looking to grow your practice, just know that you'll need to do these things here, or else there'll be other practices that are going to grow as potentially you don't. Hopefully you won't go into decline, but it's very real. This is nice stuff to look at, nice stuff to learn, but really important to take action on as well. Now, if you do reach out and you want to have an in-depth discussion, some newer things that we're doing, some of the things that you saw in the presentation here, we're going to be able to do a very deep analysis of your online visibility. We'll be able to pull those heat maps for you to show you how your practice is showing up online, to show you the quick wins that are available for you, how you can rank in your local market. We're going to run that ranking report for you. We'll also do a bonus. If you're doing any Google ads, for example, we'll do a Google PPC ad competitive to show you competitor ads, to show you competitor market share. The way that we use this for our clients is it's important to know what you're going to do in a Google ad and to position yourself, but it's equally, if not more important, to understand what the competitors are doing so that you can position yourself even better. That's what we do. We position our clients even stronger than the competition by understanding what they're doing and doing it better. We're going to do also an analysis of your social media presence. We're going to do that for you. Also competition in your marketplace. We're going to show you a hidden opportunity assessment. That's where there's quick wins. There's opportunities that are available for pretty much, I would say, everybody in the call. There's always something, right, in business that you can do better. We're going to show you what those are. We're also going to provide a practice growth plan. If you want us to create a detailed growth plan for what we would do to help you achieve your goals, we'll do that. This is all free, all complimentary, no obligation. And also for anybody who goes through the process here, I'm actually going to give you a free copy of our book, our Amazon best-selling book that you can see here, Seductive Digital Marketing and Sales for Aesthetic Practices. Just go ahead and text 877-813-6873. You can call, but text is best. If you're busy, of course, as well, just text that and text content calendar or text chat. Obviously, we'll be able to do that, or you can go to clinicgrower.com/schedule. And so I want to keep an eye on the chat here to see what questions we may have. Let's take a look at that because we are going to wrap it up here in just a moment. Again, contact details are here. Would love to know in the chat. Would love to know a little bit more about some of the key takeaways that anybody here has. Thanks, Julian. Julian just dropped in the contact information. Appreciate that. I think for most of us here, there's going to be an opportunity. Number one, I actually saw a couple of practices that are here. Hi, docs. And Google reviews, please get more Google reviews. That'll help you get more patients. Just do that one thing. A couple of you guys here have that process in place. And then number two, take a look at your blog content. Obviously, everything else, the social media aspect, there's opportunities here in order to help you get ahead. And the answer, Dr. Rafi, is yeah, we will be providing a replay for you because you've attended the webinar here as well. So no worries there. Be able to send it to you and also for your team to review as well. That is pretty much it. Definitely want to open it up for any more questions that we may have here. As always, I love doing these. We spent the last 45 minutes. What we've been through is everything that I promised, which was the ability to inspire, to educate, inspire, and attract new patients. We went through how-to examples and how to do it. We looked through some examples of practices that are leveraging these types of strategies. It's really important to do these now heading into 2025. There's going to be major demand in fourth quarter, as we all know. So you want to be the practice that those patients are finding. You want to be the one who's educating and inspiring those patients, or else you're just going to be losing out on market share. So please make sure you have that strategy in place. As everybody here knows, we work with over 117 different vein and vascular locations across the US. We've been doing vein and vascular growth marketing since 2017. We're really good at what we do. So if you have any questions, you may as well reach out and speak with the best. We love educating our marketplace. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this today. I will be here for a couple more minutes. If we have any questions, just drop them into the chat.